Welcome back, everyone, and all aboard the crazy train. We don't hardly get a day without some new story about Ocasio Cortez. Right now, she is in her luxury apartment, sipping wine, apparently assembling IKEA furniture. It looks like I don't know. I've never bought any of their stuff. And going on and on about everything and anything that she thinks of in that expanse where her brain should be. Right now, this one is Democratic Socialist U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez took to Instagram Live on Wednesday night to assemble IKEA furniture in her Washington, D.C. apartment, drink a little wine, and blast her critics while defending her highly publicized miscues. The freshman congresswoman, in office for just 3 months, at one point squatted near her camera, finished a sip from her glass, and gave her viewers the lowdown. "I'm in this to do the most good each day. That's what I'm here to do," she said before shrugging her shoulders. So that's what it is. After rising to attend some boards leaning against a wall, Ocasio Cortez suddenly turned around, leaned down toward the camera, and, akin to a playground taunt, launched into a rant about her age and, like, other stuff. "And guess what? I'm 29. I'm the youngest woman ever to be elected to the United States Congress, and I have plenty of time to learn, and I'm not afraid to make mistakes and iterate in public either." Uh, Improper use of iterate there, Miss Ocasio Cortez. That would be a deduction from the test. Oh, but there was more, much more. "And frankly," she continued, "if the mistakes that I am making are just a one off, like rhetorical thing, you correct it, acknowledge it, and move on. We will have an 'I know you are, but what am I' moment. Oh, yes, we will. At least I'm not trying to cage children in the border and inject them with drugs," Ocasio Cortez added to her already bizarre rant. "That's not a mistake. That's deliberate policy to attack people based on their national origin. That's not a mistake. That's just hatred. That's just cruelty. That's just wrong. That's just a lie, Miss Ocasio Cortez. The cage was from a protest under President Obama. There are no children in cages. There is no one being injected with drugs, unless, of course, it's by a licensed medical professional treating them as they are required to do when they need medical treatment. Of course, there is going to be the video. I'm not going to subject you to her insanity. But this doesn't end there. Ocasio Cortez responds to new campaign finance complaint. Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, Democrat, New York, told Fox News Wednesday that new claims of campaign finance violations by her and her campaign manager were bogus. According to a complaint filed earlier Wednesday with the Federal Election Commission, FEC, Ocasio Cortez and her then campaign manager, Sakat Chakrabarti, I do apologize if I butchered that, created a shadowy web of political action committees, PACs, allowing them to raise more money than they otherwise could have mustered. I mean, it's conservative interest groups just filing bogus proposals, Ocasio Cortez said while heading to a meeting of the House Financial Services Committee. The complaint also alleges that Chakrabarti, now Ocasio Cortez's chief of staff, established a limited liability company, or LLC, that offered Ocasio Cortez and other Democratic candidates political consulting services at below market rates, something that complaints say is in violation of the FEC rules. At the same time, the complaint says Chakrabarti served as Ocasio Cortez's campaign manager, sat on the board of Justice Democrats PAC, and co-founded the brand new Congress PAC. While I agree with everyone from Alexandria Ocasio Cortez to Rep. Mark Meadows, Republican, North Carolina, that super PACs should be banned, for years I've noted that creating an LLC to funnel political money is worse than a super PAC because you never learn the donors to an LLC, says John Pudner, a former George W. Bush campaign and the executive director of the conservative campaign finance reform group Take Back Our Republic. According to a July 2018 post on the Center for Responsive Politics Open Secrets blog, Ocasio Cortez received $5,000 from each of two left wing PACs, Justice Democrats and MoveOn.org. Following her primary win over incumbent Representative Joe Crowley. Wednesday's complaint is the second filed against Ocasio Cortez in less than a month by conservative Virginia attorney Dan Backer. His previous complaint alleged that Ocasio-Cortez's campaign funneled at least $6,000 to her boyfriend through the brand new Congress PAC. A separate complaint filed last month alleges that Ocasio-Cortez and Chakrabarty redirected $885,000 in campaign contributions from Congress PAC and Justice Democrats PAC to Brand New Campaign LLC and Brand New Congress LLC. The PACs claimed at the time that the payments were for strategic consulting. A couple of weeks after the initial complaints were filed, Ocasio-Cortez and Chakrabarty were removed from the Board of Justice Democrats. This one honestly just has a big feel of what goes around comes around. We've had 2 years of Robert Mueller probing the supposed collusion with Russia in 2016's presidential election. It's all come down to be a big nothing burger when Robert Mueller's report stated there was no collusion. He then stated he would not rule on obstruction, as he is not supposed to rule on obstruction. He is supposed to say, here's the evidence I have found, and that's it. And Democrats can't accept it. But Ocasio-Cortez now has 2 FEC complaints against her, and instantly, well, they're bogus. Instantly, she's on the defensive, and the Democrats rally to her aid, at least some do. Where are the social justice warriors demanding to see her taxes for the last 3 years? Where are the investigators demanding to see all of these political action committees and LLCs' records? Because, of course, they were supposedly involved. Why is it that when nothing comes out of a 2+ year long investigation of Donald Trump, we are supposed to dismiss that and instantly accept that, well, there is evidence. We just can't show it to you. Just obey us. But when we have the FEC officially having complaints filed against Ocasio-Cortez, we're supposed to ignore those. I've made this allusion to Ocasio-Cortez before, and I will continue to as it fits. She is the embodiment of George Orwell's Animal Farm. She is the embodiment of all of us are equal, but some of us are more equal than others. In her mind, living in a luxury apartment, taking a low 6-figure but very good salary for very little work, and spouting off about anything and everything she has nothing in any way approaching knowledge of, well, we're not allowed to even complain. But when she demands that something be done, we're not allowed to say why. We're not even allowed to do anything but just instantly obey. How long until we hear her actually say, I am better than you, I am above you, in those words? She has already said, I'm the boss, which, Miss Ocasio-Cortez, you are not. In all senses of the word, you are an employee of the citizens of your district of New York. They are your boss. They pay your salary. They put you in office. Why is it now everyone is to obey you? You are the one who tells us we must give up luxuries in our life while living a luxurious lifestyle. You are the one who says we cannot have planes or cars while you ride around in Ubers and fly all over the country. You are the one who tells us we cannot have children, cannot eat beef, that we must, while you're doing nothing even resembling obeying your own orders. Just like Al Gore, your carbon footprint would be still large for a small family, while you demand that we give up everything and anything you don't want us to have. I hope the FEC gets to the bottom of this. If they find that nothing happened, then that is what they find, and I will accept that. Unlike the Democrats, who don't accept that Robert Mueller did not find anything anywhere near what they wanted him to magically find. This attitude has to stop. There is currently a movement called Convention of States. It's cosaction.com. COS, as in Convention of States. Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution gives the people the right to call a convention, propose debate on, and vote for amendments to the Constitution, and then send them back to all 50 states to be ratified if they wish to. When two-thirds of the states, or 34 total, pass resolutions calling for a convention, it is called. The delegates are then selected by their states, and they travel to the convention to debate and vote on, and so on. Three-quarters of the states must then ratify the amendments passed by the convention for them to become amendments. There are three goals of this group. One is term limits on Congress. I know what I would like to see, which would be 3 terms for the House of Representatives and 2 terms in the Senate. I don't know what ultimately is discussed by others, but that's what I would like to see. That would be 6 years and I believe 12 years respectively. I do need to go back and reread that part of the Constitution. But it is 3 terms for the House and 2 for the Senate. Goal number 2 is fiscal responsibility. Basically, a constitutional amendment requiring that Congress not spend more than they have, that they not rob Peter to pay Paul. I personally would phrase it, if I was in charge, as that any member of the United States Congress who does not operate in the black for an entire fiscal year, I would say for 75% of a fiscal year, is ejected from office and never allowed to serve the U.S. government again. Basically, you operate a deficit budget for more than 3 months out of a year, you're out. I would say out instantly, but I would accept out at the end of your term. And the third, which is actually the saddest one we have because we're having to put it here, is to defend the Constitution. Basically saying, hey, what do the words actually say? Okay, that's what they mean. No more of this, well, the founders didn't know that there would be AR-15s. They only meant muskets. But of course they knew that smartphones and Twitter would certainly be a thing. No. The amendment basically says, if it says arms, it means arms. End of discussion. End of debate. You cannot just say it means whatever the hell you want it to at any given moment. And it is very sad that we have to pass an amendment for that. Equally as sad as the president having to sign an executive order saying that Congresses cannot infringe on the First Amendment rights of their students. Equally as sad as Texas passing a law to that effect, stating that Texan colleges cannot censor their students. It's right there in the First Amendment, free speech, but now we have to have laws passed that say you have to obey the Constitution. And we're actually debating a constitutional amendment to do the same. Well, I've talked long enough. What do you think? Keep the comments classy and civil. Again, we don't learn from arguments. We learn from debate. As always, make sure to like the video and subscribe so you keep up to date with all the new content coming out, with the rabbit holes once I'm ready to jump down them. And I've got a few other things I may be working on. I'm working on a schedule so that I can do this and keep up with the rest of my life. As it stands right now, I will be posting at 4 o'clock a.m. and p.m. and 10 o'clock a.m. and p.m. Just the 4 posts per day for right now so that I don't end up just burning the candle at both ends. My day job is heating up. There may be now and then things that get posted on the fly, so you will want those notifications on so you can be notified not only of the new posts, but also of anything that comes up out of the blue. Until next time, though, have a wonderful day.